evening, ladies and gentlemen. It took 11 days for the leader of opposition to move on from his obsession with General Naravane's book. After his book stunt spectacularly boomeranged, Rahul Gandhi finally turned the page. And what did he turn to do? Mixed martial arts. Participating in the union budget debate in Lok Sabha today, the Congress member of Parliament and leader of opposition, a blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu and a black belt in Aikido, switched to combat metaphors to try and put the center on the mat. In fact, to choke them till they tapped. He called the India-US trade deal one-sided, a sellout, wholesale surrender. He accused the Prime Minister of compromising India's interests. He warned that American agricultural imports would flood Indian markets. He claimed that the textile sector would be finished. He alleged India had ceded ground on digital provisions. He boasted that had the India bloc negotiated the deal, there would have been parity, not submission. And then came the sudden pivot. From Finance Ministry, references switched to the US Department of Justice. Rahul Gandhi started citing the Epstein files. In the name of creative freedom came allegations without substantiation. In name of free speech came freewheeling allegations. Listen in.
मार्शल आर्ट की जो फाउंडेशन होती है स्पीकर सर, वो ग्रिप से शुरू होती है। तो शुरुआत ग्रिप से होती है सर, और लक्ष्य होता है कि ग्रिप के एकदम आने के बाद चोक में जाए। और होता क्या है सर, वो रेजिस्ट करता है, पहले 2-3 बार ऐसे रेजिस्ट करता है और फिर उसको भी पता लग जाता है कि मैं गया, और फिर वो वहां पे बात खत्म हो जाती है और फिर वो सरेंडर करके ऐसे टैप कर देता है सर। प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप, if you want access to this data, then please understand that you are going to talk to us as an equal. You are not going to talk to us as if we are your servants. I am saying that you have sold India. Are you not ashamed of selling India? Do you have no shame of selling India? You have sold our mother, Bharat Mata. Do you have no shame? You know why he sold India? Because they are choking him. They've got a grip on his neck. स्पीकर साहब, मैंने बोला जब चोक लगाते हैं दूसरे व्यक्ति की आंख में देखते हो तो डर दिखता है सर, पीएम की आंख में डर दिखता है सर। एप्स्टीन सर, 3 million files are still locked up.
As Rahul Gandhi spoke, Jagdambika Pal was the presiding officer. This as Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla had decided to step aside from chairing the proceedings till the matter of no confidence motion against him is settled. But that did not stop Rahul Gandhi from taking digs at the chair. Watch what transpired.
Sir, I will. Because you were on right track. Sir, you were absolutely on right track.
Sir,
I don't know why you are just.
Speaker sir, you are ex-Congress party member. So I will do you a special favor today, sir. I will back down.
नहीं, मेरी बात अगर आप मानते हैं तो वहाँ नहीं बैठे होते। आप अगर if you are sitting there, तो only because of you have not taken my advice.
Rahul Gandhi's propensity for not paying heed to decorum, rules and regulations is not new. So while he was making unsubstantiated allegations, Treasury benches sought verification. BJP leaders objected to his language and content. Government says they will be writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker to ask Rahul Gandhi to either authenticate whatever he said or for his entire speech to be expunged from parliamentary records. There is also likelihood of a notice for breach of privilege to be filed against the leader of opposition.
मैं सदन में कहना चाहता हूँ, आज तक कोई माई के लाल पैदा नहीं हुआ जो भारत को सेल कर सकता है, कोई खरीद सकता है।
बिना बात के, बिना किसी बुनियाद के संसद में आरोप लगाना राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से अपने एलओपी के पद की गरिमा को भी उन्होंने कम किया।
अगर किंग जेम्स द फर्स्ट was the wisest fool in Christendom, so we can say that Rahul Gandhi is the wisest fool in Congressdom.
कुछ नहीं है, एक पेपर लाए मैं अथेंटिक करता हूं, बोले तो ये अथेंटिक के बोलने से अथेंटिक नहीं होगा। यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड, इनको अथेंटिकेशन का अर्थ भी समझ नहीं है, रूल का भी अर्थ का समझ नहीं है, इसलिए कुछ भी बोलते हैं।
On the one hand, you have leaders who dedicate their lives to transforming the country, who work around the clock, and then you have elements of buffoonery.
Throughout his speech, Rahul Gandhi kept harping on the importance of facts. So here are some facts about the trade deal. His allegations of surrender came on a day when India scored a big diplomatic victory. After former US President Donald Trump unveiled the interim trade framework, the White House released an official fact sheet detailing the terms of the agreement. That original document made three major claims. First, it said India had committed to purchasing over $500 billion worth of American goods. The word committed has now been replaced. Instead, the language now says India intends or plans to purchase. This is not a legal obligation. That is not binding. Second, the earlier draft included agricultural goods in the $500 billion worth of goods that India will purchase. That reference to agricultural goods does not find a mention in the current draft. And third, the earlier claim that India would remove its digital services tax is gone. The revised version now says both sides will negotiate digital trade rules. However, Congress always remains skeptical.
In another 5 years, even the intention of doing 500 billion, I don't think so it's correct. The government of the day should come in the parliament, should have first come to the parliament, should have given the details of the US treaty, and now also they should come in the parliament and tell threadbare what the trade deal is all about. Because many of the things that we are talking, it is only in the realm of imagination.
रेयर अर्थ के लिए भारत तैयार रहना चाहिए, माइक्रोचिप्स हम बनाना चाहिए, इसके ऊपर इतना चिंता व्यक्त करने वाला लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन ये भी पढ़ा नहीं है कि एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी के लिए हमने to insulate India from weaponization of energy matters, the budget pushes for autonomy in critical minerals. Customs duty का exemption हुआ, nuclear power के लिए 2,500 crores allot हुआ, and national green hydrogen mission के लिए 600 crores allot हुआ. बजट को पढ़ा नहीं है, आ गए हमारे लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन बात करने के लिए.
Given the repeated references to Epstein files, you may think Rahul Gandhi's speech wasn't about the budget at all. Maybe it wasn't, because it looked like Rahul Gandhi hadn't done enough homework and hadn't gone through the fine print. Because while he repeatedly claimed that India's digital sovereignty had been compromised in the New Deal, I just showed you how the revised US fact sheet says digital trade rules will be negotiated. Negotiated, not surrendered. Then Rahul Gandhi says that if the India bloc were negotiating, they wouldn't surrender. Now here comes a bit of history. After the US-India civil nuclear deal, the American side publicly stated that India had committed to submit its entire civilian nuclear program to international inspection. Was that strategy or was that surrender? And as far as the allegation that India's energy security has been fully handed over to America is concerned, listen in to what Russia has had to say.
You mentioned.
Well, that brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight, ladies and gentlemen. From quoting an unpublished book to making unsubstantiated claims, is spit and run Rahul Gandhi's latest strategy? Is this choke and tap? That's the question we're asking on the Newshour tonight.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, Faizan Kidwai, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Somnath Bhartiji, former minister in the Aam Aadmi Party government and senior leader. But my first question goes to Congress supporter Tehseen Poonawalla. And Tehseen Poonawalla, now we are not into political rhetoric. We're not into stalling parliament. We're talking in parliament and we're teaching martial arts, jiu-jitsu. of all things. Choke and tap. Is that the new strategy for Rahul Gandhi? And if choke and tap was what he wanted, why waste 11 days? And to make unsubstantiated charge, as he's fond of doing, how far is he going to go and where is it going to stop? Can you share that blueprint with the nation tonight?
Thank you, Navika ji, for having me on the show. At the onset, it was extremely surprising, disappointing, but not unexpected to see the Treasury benches hoot and prevent the honorable leader of opposition after 25 minutes from making his points, every time trying to break his flow, because he had actually got them on the choke on 3 or 4 issues which were pertinent to our finance bill as well as to our trade deal with United States, the interim trade deal that is to be signed. For example, Navika ji, is it not a fact that Bangladesh has got 0% tariff when it comes to textiles if they import cotton from United States? India is also going to be importing cotton, but we will have 18% tariff. Where is the honorable leader of opposition faking it on it? Is it not a fact that in the tax holiday to the data centers, the free-flowing data protection law that should apply in India will not be applying. Therefore, America will have access to Indian data, 1.4 billion Indians. And with the kind of technology America has, ma'am, they will know exactly what you're doing, your family is doing. Is it not something that we should be talking about and discussing in Parliament? Finally, ma'am, I will not go too much into details. When we asked the Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal ji on the trade deal on oil, he says speak to Jaishankar ji. Jaishankar ji says speak to Hardeep Puri ji. Hardeep Puri ji says speak to Piyush Goyal ji. Instead of this merry-go-round, can we not have the most honorable Prime Minister come to Parliament and address us as a nation and tell us what is this trade deal about? But ma'am, since you spoke about unauthentic data, was it okay, ma'am, when personal books about Indira ji and personal insinuations were made by Nishikant Dubey ji? Are you, ma'am, okay with that? What was that authenticated? Ma'am, what was authenticated when on Bofors or radio station spoke something about it, the BJP stalled Parliament, or on draft reports of CAG on 2G, draft reports not yet submitted, they stalled Parliament? Today you're asking the honorable leader of opposition to authenticate his claims. He is authenticating his claims. There is an industrialist, a serial offender who is in trouble, who should be facing investigation in India, and his name has come up in the Epstein files for arranging tall Swedish blonde women for the Israeli Prime Minister, former.
Tehseen Poonawalla, it is for industrialists to answer the charges against them, but it is under this government that that particular industrialist is facing investigations. The CBI and Enforcement Directorate are regularly visiting him. Be my guest, accompany the team so that you get to know more about it, than you do right now, than we do right now. So, the fact that investigations are happening is something you know, but if you pretend that, to show that you don't know anything about it, all I can say is, well, choke, tap, do whatever you will, because you have a new strategy every other day. But Siddharth Yadav, 11 days wasted, and ultimately Rahul Gandhi speaks, whatever he speaks, whatever charges he makes. My question is, why did the Treasury benches also play along and waste these 11 days? This could have been agreed to be done on day one itself.
Navika ji, good evening, and good evening to all your viewers. The Parliament of our country is a place where the highest standards of democracy have to be represented. It's a symbol where debate, discourse, discussions have to be done, and highest standards of professional conduct have to be displayed. But unfortunately, the conduct, the language, the style of the leader of opposition has brought down the entire standard of our parliament. Now, this is nothing new for the Congress party. If wherever Rahul Gandhi would go, be it his personal ventures in British companies where he worked, all those also were shut down. Be it the Congress party's leadership, now Congress party is down in shambles, or be it the role of LOP, the parliament also has to face the brunt. The reality is the parliament is not a place for theatrics. Be it the LOP or be it anybody else, if someone says something, they have to substantiate, they have to give evidence, they have to give to the floor whatever documents they are quoting. Now from day one, we are seeing this ball hut from the leader of opposition, where he comes out and says that I am adamant, I will say anything, I will quote anything, I'll quote unpublished work, I will say any fact, I will just do it because I think I come from the first family of this house, of this country. Now, this is the shoot and scoot policy of Rahul Gandhi. This is that policy of Rahul Gandhi which comes from a very elitist mindset. This is not acceptable in our democracy. Now, Rahul Gandhi or the Congress spokespersons will teach us about favoring industrialists or favoring foreign companies. The party which stood with Union Carbide, which stood with Bofors, which was defending Augusta Westland and whatnot, would now come and teach the country of how pressure is there and what is the relationship. The party wherein Sonia Gandhi had to tell a finance minister, Natwar Singh, which is quoted by the way by himself in his book, that we can't keep you as the finance minister because there's too much pressure from US. Now is teaching the country of what US pressure is and what has to be done with. I think in partisan democracy, you can allege anything on the government. But if an official stance come out, then you have to stand with the country. Now, the stand of the government is the stand of the country. If we say that there is nothing that is against the interests of the farmers, if it has come out, how can you make such claims if you can't substantiate them? How can you make such claims if you don't have any proofs for that? But Rahul Gandhi thinks that I can just shoot and scoot, I can spit and run, I will come out, I will say any lie, I will poise venom, and I will just run away to my foreign country wherever my next trip is planned. This is not the standard of democracy in 2026. This should not be the standard of democracy in 2026, and this has to be called out. If Rahul Gandhi...
you're calling it out, and the nation will give its verdict, but let me get in Faizan Kidwai. And Faizan Kidwai, the 500 billion purchase of US goods. You've seen there have been amendments to the trade deal that have been made, and India was originally put there as committed to buy. Now it is intention to buy, to take it to that level. Second issue, tariffs change. Pulses have been removed from the original draft. Now they are no longer the part of this. Again, agricultural products is retracted from the original list, and as far as digital services tax, India will remove digital services tax. Now it says retracted and says both sides will negotiate. It clearly shows that in the joint statement, the push-pull happens, the final deal has gone through a few changes. And I've been saying from the beginning, wait, it is something that is in the making, and we've seen it's not the ideal situation. We've seen the world order change. We've seen how other countries are negotiating, but India's managed to get its own worries across and get the amendments to that done. Why does the opposition suffer from so much of lack of trust that you're always thinking in terms of the Prime Minister ne bech diya, Prime Minister dar gaya, Prime Minister bhag gaya, Narendra surrender? Why is there so much of trust deficit? And as Kiran Rijiju said, is there anybody in this world who can sell this nation? Do you really believe that?
Good evening, Navika. Good evening to you and to the fellow panelists. Navika, the reason why we cannot trust the Prime Minister is not because we don't want to trust him, but the reason is because he hasn't given us anything so that we can actually trust what our Honorable Prime Minister is saying. He's been constantly lying. He wants to silence the voice of the opposition, which represents 42% of Indians who voted against Mr. Narendra Modi. Navika, I'm just quoting you an Indian Express article which was published on 6th February 2026. It says that the Agricultural Secretary, Brooke Lawrence and Rollins, and USAID spokesperson have categorically said that in this trade deal, there'll be a reduction in tariffs and non-tariff barriers, and there'll be reforms in overly generous subsidy programs of India, which is not because of which there's no level playing field provided to the American farmers. Has the government contradicted this point? And further, I would like to tell you, Navika, the US has constantly argued this point in World Trade Organization that India India's MSP program is a trade distorting subsidy. Now imagine, Navika, if these points have been agreed, so that means Narendra Modi has agreed to do away or dilute the MSP, which as it is they are not giving, but as per the Swaminathan Commission's recommendation. If this happens, the Indian farmer's life, which according to the biggest trading international bloc, OECD, India is the only country where farmers are suffering, where they are not getting their dues. And the reason OECD has given is wrong policies of the government. When the farmers protest, you call them Khalistanis. When the opposition asks you a question, you switch off the mic. This is not going to happen, Navika. This is not democracy. This is dictatorship. And as responsible members of the opposition party, it is our duty to see to it that the voice of 42% of Indians who don't like Mr. Narendra Modi, who want him out, this voice will be heard. And Narendra Modi is in no position to tell us what we are supposed to ask them, because if you are going to sell out a country, first of all, you have nothing to say when we talk about China capturing our territory. First you say, yahan koi nahi ghusa, baad mein khul ke aa gaya na sab ghusa. So this proves that Narendra Modi was lying back then. As far as the US trade deal is concerned, an observer has been appointed that the moment we take oil from Russia, this trade deal will be cancelled. The additional penalty that was put on us of 25% earlier, that will be reinstated.
Hold on. On Russian oil, Russian Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, and his statement of today, may I read it to you? You mentioned Donald Trump's statement that India has agreed not to buy Russian oil. I haven't heard anything about that from anyone else, including from the Prime Minister or any other Indian counterpart.
Yeah, sure.
They've not been told. You're the only one convinced.
No,
it is again a statement of intent, and it is on the grounds that we as Indians should not be seen as financing the war. And of course, India reserves the right as far as its price point is concerned. But Anand Ranganathan, why are they hell-bent on believing the worst without facts in their hands? Because Faizan Kidwai on 2 occasions in his counter actually came out and said, if this is true, if they agree to this, then this will happen. Bhai, first that if has to be becoming a fact, and only then can you make the allegations. But you want all the freedom to allege something even without knowing the facts, and that is what I'm questioning, Anand Ranganathan. If somebody is erred, well, take them to the cleaners. Be my guest as the opposition. That's the job that you are meant to do. But without knowing the facts, should you begin to call this a sellout? Should you start calling Narendra surrender, dar gaya, bhag gaya? You know, what is this?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, I want to congratulate you, truly, because this is an amazing discussion, and this is the kind of discussion based on facts, not rhetoric, that our parliament should be having, but you are having it, so thank you for that. I want to very quickly, not more than a couple of minutes, put at least 4 or 5 points across, especially on the US trade deal. But first of all, I have to say this, what Faizan Bhai has said also has an element of truth, because they are going by what both sides, specifically the Americans, are putting out. Now, yes, I do agree that trade deal formal signing is maybe a month away. But then if it is a month away, then should we wait? Should Americans wait? Should Indians wait, rather than having every week put out some statement and then having to change their statement? And because of that, there is mistrust that is developing, and that cannot be right. Number 2, may I please condemn in strongest of words what my good friend Faizan Bhai has said, and I quote him, 42% of Indians don't like Modi. That is what he said. Does he mean to say, let him say it, danke ki chot pe, that 58% of Indians don't like Rahul Gandhi or Akhilesh Yadav? Is this the way to behave if somebody votes in an election? I might not vote for Modi, doesn't mean I don't like him or I hate him. I might not vote for Rahul Gandhi. These are decisions that Indians are making based on India's interests. So please hold back on these strong words. Now, let me state just the facts, and please give me a couple of minutes because it's very important. This is not being discussed in the parliament. We are discussing it here. Number 1, you know it, Navika, India has signed fantastic trade deals or FTAs with 8 in the last 5 years. The biggest being with the EU. Not a single one of them puts India in a lock-in, meaning puts preconditions on India. They emphasize reciprocal tariff reductions, market access improvements, investment facilitation, and rules-based trade. And in contrast, the US-India trade deal, at least of what we know of it right now, forces India to commit to stopping Russian oil imports and to buy American goods worth $500 billion over the next 5 years. This makes it distinct from India's other trade deals and adhere to standard WTO compatible frameworks without geopolitical or strategic autonomy trade-offs. The commitment to not buy Russian oil, 36 to 40% of our total oil imports currently, means that we are being dictated to by America. This is the truth. To buy or not to buy anything should and must always remain India's sovereign decision. Besides, it was the same America that was imploring us to buy Russian oil 3 years ago to stabilize world oil prices. And now it is telling us to not buy Russian oil because it suits their hypocritical stand despite China and the West continuing to buy Russian energy and oil. Instead of playing ping pong between two ministries, India should have by now come out with a clear stand on the executive order that further states that it will police India's purchases and will slap oil tariffs back in. Number two, very quickly, I am glad that the White House has changed the word commit to intent, because quite frankly, the second lock-in imposed on us that we have committed to buy $500 billion of American products means that we are obligated to more than double our US imports every year from 40 billion to 100 billion or so. Now, it may indeed happen, Navika, that we do this purely because of our strategic or domestic requirements. After all, we buy $110 billion worth of Chinese products every year, but being forced to do so is arm twisting. And number three, this is important. It is also true, which the opposition is not saying and it must say, that these lock-ins that Trump has forced on India are identical to what he has imposed on all other nations with whom he has made trade deals with. For example, he has forced on EU a commitment to purchase $750 billion in US energy products and $600 billion in investments in US by 2028. In exchange for US tariff cap at 15%, he has forced on Malaysia a commitment to purchase $150 billion.
But this is not about the trade deal, and Anand Ranganathan, life is not what it was yesterday, and America is not what it was yesterday. There is a difference, and that is the reality check. Biden's America was different from Trump's America, and we've got to recognize it. We've got to do the business with them. But my worry is something else. My worry, Somnath Bharti ji, is the point where we have come in our parliamentary democracy, where we just take pot shots at just about anybody. We will put a no confidence motion on the speaker. This time in the chair was Jagdambika Pal ji, so pot shots were taken at him. Kya aap to kabhi Congress mein the? Aapke liye main light kar dunga. And then he has to turn around and rebut and say, hey, if you had listened to me, you wouldn't be in the opposition, you would be in the treasury benches. Just what's going on? Rahul Gandhi comes out, just goes into a conversation happening between two Modi Sarkar ministers and the media standing, and just goes in, holds his hand and says, come talk, let's talk together. The guy says, I mean, you've stopped me mid-sentence, I've lost my train of thought, goes away. What is going on? Is this a drama company that is being set out in parliament? And above all, martial arts, choke, tap, jujitsu, aankh mein dar hai, ye kya chal raha hai bhai? Parliament hai, kushti ka akhada hai.
Navika ji, you try literally hard to defend BJP for all its wrongs.
And you try very hard to defend Rahul Gandhi. Ye kya ho gaya?
Inbuilt rules. You try to defend BJP for its wrongs. That's what I'm saying. So, see, I mean, I've been listening to all the co-panelists very patiently. Lok Sabha is a place where you debate on the issues that the country is facing as of today. What is youth facing? What is the middle class facing? The issues faced by the business people, women, etc., etc. What do we see today? What is happening? We are into personal glorification. Modi ji ko ye keh diya, Modi ji ko ye keh diya. Bhai, kab tak is prakar se behave karenge? You need to be held accountable. You need to be accountable for the position you hold today. You are a prime minister. You are supposed to be addressing the issues the country is facing. The country today is questioning you that why did you surrender to US? The trade deal is so much tilted towards Americans, and Indians, especially farmers, are at loss today. Fisheries are at loss today. And what do we do now? We're trying to justify. You were very, you pointed out that they've changed the word. No longer commitment is there. Now they're saying you intend. I mean, what are we doing? Here, the Commerce Minister was saying MEA will respond. MEA was saying Commerce Minister will respond. And none of you have possibly the facility to put both of them together and question them, at the same time. Today, the country is saying, earlier we were paying 3%. Now we pay 18%. So is this something to Gaga, do we pleased with? What are we saying? So country's concerns are three in number today, which has cornered Mr. Modi. One, in General Naravane's book, that Mr. Modi's image, which we all have been projected to, that he's too brave, he takes decisions just like, and he's a hero, etc., etc. Now, what do we see there in the book? He was undecisive. He's a leader who did not stand with his army.
No.
Number two.
How does it show? How does it show he was indecisive? No, please prove your point. Substantiate.
Please. All right. But good you asked me. See, so far, General Naravane has not said that these words are not mine. He has only said that book possibly is under consideration of the Ministry of Defense.
But the words that he says, "Jo uchit samjho wo karo," shows that he had a free hand. There was no political interference. So what are you trying to point at, Somnath Bharti?
That's not leadership. When the army chief said that is China, it's not Pakistan. Whatever I decide, whatever I do, will have deeper repercussions on the nation. It means he was looking for help. So that
a general looking for help on military decisions, which the political leadership is leaving to him to take. The rest they will handle. Anand Ranganathan, and they are objecting to the political leadership giving the military leaders a free hand. Now that is the situation that we are trying to question the government on. Really?
Navika, you know it. I respect Somnathji tremendously. And I'm very happy, Somnathji, please 1 second. I'm very happy that he has put out on the table that he immensely respects and trusts General Naravane. It's a simple question to you and time for you to play that clip. Somnathji, do you trust and believe General Naravane when he said Modi has not given a single inch of Indian land to China? Yes or no?
Bite out. I can play that bite out, Somnathji. Naravane is on record, not on one or two, but on several occasions to say not 1 inch has been given away.
Boliye Somnathji, do you trust General Naravane?
We all know I have been to Galwan Valley myself. Okay? Now let me respond to you because the gentleman has asked me.
Now he doesn't trust.
Ranganathanji, let me respond to you. Please permit me to respond to you. Okay? See, in Galwan Valley, usually have no man's land, okay, between the two countries' international borders. So that land which was between the borders of the two nations called China and India, that's gone. No man's land is gone to China, sir. Today you have China and India borders wall to wall.
So then, are you saying General Naravane is a liar? Are you saying that? Are you saying General Naravane is a liar because that is not borne out by his statements, Siddharth Yadav? They can't have their cake and eat it too, or whatever it is that they like to eat, puri, chola or bhatura. They can't have it and eat it too. The fact is they say they believe the general, and the general has said not 1 inch has gone. Which part of the truth are they willing to subscribe to, Siddharth? Is that not a question?
Navika ji, they are not willing to subscribe to the truth. This is the reality. They will subscribe to anything else but the truth. This is the reality. I can very well make out today that how Aam Aadmi Party is so close with the Congress Party, because I think they follow the same pattern of saying anything and everything and not substantiate it. My learned friend, a former minister in Delhi's cabinet, is saying that the trade deal with US is tilted towards the US. Where is the trade deal? Where are the provisions? What have you read? The framework is there. Our government is coming out, our ministers are coming out, our secretaries are coming out and stating something you don't want to believe. On the oil, our foreign secretary has come out and very categorically stated that India will maintain a diversified flow of oil based on our interests. But you don't want to believe that. Our agricultural minister has come out and said that on critical agricultural products, there would not be a reduction so that our market and our farmers don't have to face a brunt. You don't believe that. But you would say anything which is without the proof on TV debates, in Parliament, on the floor of the House, anywhere and everywhere. So one thing is very clear, Navika ji, Congress party and the entire opposition, they do not subscribe to the truth. They are far away from truth. All they care about is how
Vivek Srivastava, which is why the two flashpoints in this parliament session have been on General Naravane's book and the other has been on the trade deal. On both issues, I think the opposition is missing the woods for the trees. The political dispensation took 2 hours, came back and empowered the military establishment to take any decision necessary to safeguard the country militarily, which means that all the deals, all the MOUs, all the understandings of that no shot will be fired were put on hold if there was any danger to Indian territory, and the military has to take the call on how they want to deal with it. The rest of the fallout will be seen by the political masters. To me, this is 100% empowerment that is done. This is not what happened after 26/11, and when Fali Homi Major wanted to be ready, the Indian Air Force wanted to be ready. They never got a response from the Prime Minister's office. Here in 2 hours flat, after all the deliberations at the top level, the decision was quoted, commanded, and given. And we are still finding fault with that. Today, the trade deal fine print sees the amendments that were problematic, amends it, work is being done as we speak, but there is a trust deficit because you want to believe that the only agenda you have is to criticize the Prime Minister, to call him Narendra Surrender, dar gaya, choke karna chahte hain. And that is why कभी बोटी करना चाहते हैं, कभी चोक करना चाहते हैं. बेसिकली आपको प्रधानमंत्री बर्दाश्त नहीं है और ये जनता का फैसला उन्हें प्रधानमंत्री बनाने का. आप जनता के फैसले की तौहीन कर रहे हैं, हां या ना? जवाब दीजिए.
नहीं, अब आप सुन लीजिए और बड़े ध्यान से सुनिए. ट्रम्प साहब आते हैं, कहते हैं वी फोर्स्ड अ सीज फायर ऑन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान, वी डोंट रिस्पॉन्ड. Trump साहब आके कहते हैं it has been agreed upon that India will not be purchasing Russian oil. Why doesn't Siddharth Yadav's party and this government and the Prime Minister come out and say ठीक है साहब हम deal sign कर रहे हैं but we will buy Russian oil? Any statement which says we are criticizing Donald Trump for his statement and he is wrong, आप बोलेंगे उस चीज को? आप कभी नहीं बोलते, आप चुप बैठ जाते हैं, आपको में दही जम जाती है. So what are we supposed to do? What are the people of this nation supposed to do? I agree totally with Anand Ranganathan ji today when he said that you need to show an iron fist and you need to negotiate for your nation and the deal should be in your favor. And you should not be like the impositions being done on Malaysia and the examples that you are given. That is the first part. Somnath ji very clearly said, he has gone to Galwan. Many people have gone there. People have seen it. No man's land पे China का कब्जा है. आपके देश की टेरिटरी के अंदर आया नहीं आया, इस पे नरवणे साहब की बात है. They are two unrelated things. And is it necessary for us to believe everything that Mr. Naravane says? And when you talk of folio,
it is not even necessary for you to believe anything Naravane says. Well, Naravane की बुक लेके 11 दिन तक पार्लियामेंट स्टॉल कर दी and now they are saying nothing to believe. First listen in to General Naravane and then I'm coming to you, Anand.
Firstly, we have not lost out in any territory. We are where we were before this whole thing started. But as a result of this agreement, it has been reached on the principle of mutual and equal security. So I think that should be the way we look at this whole disengagement process, that it serves the interests of both countries to have a very stable LAC and with less chances of any confrontation taking place. That should be the larger viewpoint that we take.
And not an inch has been lost.
Not an inch has been lost. That's right. Approaching this
well, there you have it. Not one word other than that is necessary. We have faith in the general. Do you, Anand Ranganathan?
Now look,
coming to you, Faizan.
Whatever General Vivek Srivastava or is he suddenly be made Field Marshal Vivek Srivastava might say, his hypocrisy is coming out brimming over the top. On one hand, he believes General Naravane. On the other hand, he says he may be wrong. He doesn't need to be right every time. It is his statement that not an inch of Indian land has been lost. Now, either you believe it or you don't. Now, the strange thing is that the same general was asking the Prime Minister what I should do. The Prime Minister responded. What is your issue? Should the Prime Minister have said that, why don't you take this regiment? Why don't you take 27 people? Why don't you take these many arms and armaments? That is not the Prime Minister's job. The Prime Minister's job is
to give an okay for an out-and-out combat or not.
You guys were quiet when the Prime Minister was asked similarly in 2008 whether we should bomb Pakistan. And then the then Prime Minister...
That was the right decision. That was the right decision. We hit back Pakistan in its own way.
That was the right decision.
That was the right decision.
Was that the right decision?
Yes. Fali Homi was clearly told to hold the gun.
Why?
And diplomatic actions were taken. Surrender nahi kiya tha. Kaise Operation Sindoor mein kiya ceasefire?
If you're going to compare action after 26/11 and now, Vivek Srivastava, I will feel suicidal, which is not a right way to feel. Faizan Kidwai, please. Faizan Kidwai.
Okay, so everybody is talking about General Naravane, that he gave this interview. See, first of all, it should be remembered by the viewers, at that time he was a serving officer and he was under oath, and there is a particular protocol that you cannot disclose.
So are you saying a man in uniform lies? Are you saying a man in uniform lies? Are you saying the general was lying in uniform? I object. I object, Faizan. You are alleging that a general in uniform was lying?
No, it's not lying, Navika. It's not lying. Once you are under oath, it's your duty to see to it. Once there's an issue that is going on, you don't give a tactical advantage to the enemy. You don't demoralize.
And you give the advantage later on.
May I,
your proposition is bizarre. Siddharth Yadav respond.
Navika, would you at least let me complete my point?
I'm short of time, sir. I'm short of time, sir.
This is shameful. This is not bizarre. This is shameful. This is the real face of the opposition. If they have the guts, when you catch them on their hypocrisy, it's such a convenient position. When they will want to believe Naravane ji, then they will believe Naravane ji. When they don't want to believe him, then they don't want to believe him. And not even believe. They want to misconstrue. They want to misinterpret what he is saying. What after 26/11, what you did, India should have responded. After 26/11, you held back our armed forces. You did not let them respond, and you were sitting hand in hand with Pakistan, liberalizing the visa for Pakistanis after 26/11. You were sitting hand in hand with Pakistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, with due respect to the opposition, with due respect to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who made a great speech in Parliament, all the histrionics there with the martial arts, with the choke and the tap, all of that granted. But you can't twist the truth to suit yourself in every scene of the film that you're producing. The truth has one version, and that's the version that you need to believe in. The general, the chief of army staff, a man in uniform sitting and saying something cannot be alleged to say that he was under pressure and he was under oath, so he said one thing, but we believe him when he writes his book. And when he writes his book, we will believe one part of what he says, not the other part. Truth cannot be amended, put in different boxes, cannot be cut, and designed in the manner that you want it to. The truth has one version, and that one version is out there. The political leadership had given their okay to the general. The general has said not 1 inch of this country has been given to China. Why then are we standing here and talking about martial arts and martial arts being applied to the Prime Minister? No acknowledgement of the trade deal and its amendments that are happening? Just a one-sided tirade bereft of facts? Is that the way the country needs to believe the opposition? I just feel we have to object, we have to criticize, but we must be reasonable with facts about it. Otherwise, you will lose your credibility when you do it like this. The Prime Minister scared? The Prime Minister selling out the country? Do you really believe people in this country will believe the opposition? I don't know. I don't think so. But viewers, you're the judge. Please be the judge of this one, and I'm sure your verdict will be known to all. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, yet another example of how Modi Sarkar does not bow down to pressure, international or domestic. As the country marks 150 years of our national song,